YouTube. I am Rahiem, and you are tuned into the TrayTableSeatBack YouTube channel, where we'll take you around the world with me and bring you travel discussions and videos, not only from my eyes, but we'll also highlight other brown and black travelers who look like us with the intent to inspire. Make sure you click that subscribe button, like this video, share this video, comment below places you want me to see, discussions you want to hear me talk about, and black travelers you want to see me interview. Without further ado, this is the long-awaited first episode. Ladies, gentlemen, non-binary and queer folks, as we start our descent, please make sure your tray tables and seat backs are in their full upright position. If only y'all knew how long it took to get here. The last month alone, I'ma just say, the devil was busy. But I know there's never a testimony without a test, and this month alone, I've been tested. But that's a story for another episode. This YouTube channel has been years in the making. Well, in my head it has been, but I have been wanting to make this YouTube channel for years. But between fear, procrastination, and wanting everything to be and look perfect, I kept putting it off. But I'm here. And what better way to start with a little Q&A with who else but me, Rahiem. I am Rahiem Johnson, born and raised in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, world traveler, travel blogger, and CEO of TrayTableSeatBack Travel Group. This YouTube channel will be geared towards not only telling my travel story, but also bringing you other brown and black travelers on the show that I'll interview to bring you their stories with the intent to just bring you different travel stories from the lenses of people who look like us. Growing up, I didn't see brown and black people used for travel ads. So I feel like inspiration hits differently when people look like us. So my goal is to bring you travel stories, whether good, bad, or indifferent, but from the lenses of people who look like us traveling the world. I think it is so essential for black people to travel so that we can not only dispel stereotypes put on by the television and media, but be able to tell our own travel stories. Representation matters. Inspiration hits differently when someone looks like you. Growing up, as I stated before, I didn't see brown and black people used for travel ads. In a $1 trillion business that is oversaturated with people who don't look like me, I felt it was imperative to create this YouTube channel, not only for myself, but for people who look like me, to be able to tune in and hear stories from the lenses of people who look like them. Once a year, go somewhere you've never been. Do something you've never done before. Although we are very underrepresented in the travel world, black people spend billions of dollars a year in the travel market. So I felt it was imperative to start putting faces and stories to let people know we are here, we exist, and we are valuable customers. Not sure I would use the word overrated to describe any destination. There's destinations that people love that I particularly don't love. Miami is one. I've never had a great time in Miami, and personally, I feel like it's extremely expensive. New Orleans is another place I don't love. I love the food, but I feel like it feels very airy and dark. And also, when I think about my international travels, I particularly did not love China. Never have to go back. When I think about underrated places, I think about Peru and the continent of Africa. Peru is such an amazing place with some breathtaking landmarks, figuratively and literally. The people are amazing, not to mention if you're a social media content creator, it's a dream there. Also, when I think about the continent of Africa, like where do I begin? I think about the Great Pyramids in Egypt, the culture and tribes in Ethiopia, Victoria Falls in Zambia, the deserts of Morocco, the beautiful beaches in Tanzania, the safari in Kenya, the vibrant culture of Joburg, the beautiful mountain and landscapes in Cape Town. Africa is definitely doesn't get the credit it deserves. It's so underrated. Anyone who knows me know that if I could live anywhere in the world, it would be two places. I love South Africa, and I also love Turkey. If I could live anywhere in the world, it would be one of those two places. One of the biggest concerns when traveling is safety. And if I'm being fully transparent, which I always intend to be on this channel, the place that I traveled to that posed the most threat and seems to be the scariest is the place where I live, the United States of America. Specifically over the past 2 years, when everyone else in the world have been dealing with one pandemic, Black people in America have been dealing with two: COVID-19 and racism. Unfortunately, boarding the plane and traveling anywhere out of the country is when I feel the most safe. During the pandemic, when everyone is anti-travel, for me, international travel meant survival and security. It was giving myself permission to live. Would I call myself a traveler or a tourist? I would actually say that I'm both. I think that there's such a bad connotation with being a tourist, and I think for me, I would say I'm both. I want to go to a country and immerse myself into their culture, see places off the beaten track, do things that's not so touristy, but also, would I go to Paris and not see the Eiffel Tower? Would I go to China and not see the Great Wall of China? No. So for me, I need that blend of both. I want to do things that are very touristy, but I also want to immerse myself into the culture, meet people, eat at restaurants that is off the beaten track, and I think it's okay being both. Honestly, this is a trick question because for me, I honestly equally enjoy both. I think there's pros to cons to both. I think traveling in a group brings you a sense of security, whether you're traveling with family, friends, or just a group of Black people. Is an indescribable feeling. But I also think that when you travel by yourself, you're able to move at your own pace, change plans as you like. But also when you travel solo, it can come with a bit of discomfort. But personally for me, being a traveler, I've become comfortable with being uncomfortable. Traveling to new, unfamiliar places definitely comes with a little discomfort. Throwing yourself and immersing yourself into different cultures and different ways of life that are very different than the way you live. It's fearful, but I've learned to embrace it. It comes with the title of being a traveler. When I think about the most difficult part about curating trips, where do I begin? Let's take the guests out of the equation for just a minute. I am running a travel business during the pandemic. As much as I love what I do, this have honestly probably been the most stressful 2 years of my life. Borders closing, travel requirements are changing daily. New variants seem like they're coming out every month. It just feels like as soon as it feels like we're coming out of this pandemic, we're right back in. As far as the other difficulties in my job, long nights, early mornings, working through language barriers, not to mention the stress level you feel planning a trip for family, friends, strangers, and trying to make sure in your itinerary you kind of meet everyone's expectations. Not to mention during this pandemic, one of the most stressful things have been tour companies and vendors have not been moving at a pace that we would all like. Everything is in the air. Policies are in the air. Refund policies are in the air. So when my guests come to me, I'm usually able to provide them with a question with certainty and in a timely manner. But when I'm not getting timely responses back from my vendors or my hotels, or if a flight is canceled, sometimes these refunds take 90 to 120 days. I feel like travelers during this time have not been the most understanding and patient. So I think there's a lot of difficulties that come with curating group trips, although I push through it because I truly, truly love what I do. Over the last 2 years, it have been magnified. And it have made the job so much harder, so much more difficult. But I have faith that we're going to come out of this soon and that we'll be back to traveling and seeing the world without all these restrictions. I'm hopeful. Yeah, that's what keeps me pushing even through all of the challenges and hurdles. When I think about my travel bucket list, I write a list often. So I definitely want to see more of Africa. I definitely want to see Ghana, Nigeria. Namibia is like #1 on my wish list, my travel wish list. I also want to see Switzerland. I want to see Iceland. And when the borders finally open, I definitely want to go to Australia. So those are the places that are at the top of my travel wish list. I think for me as a business owner, working in a travel business 2 years into a pandemic, one thing the pandemic has taught me is I'm resilient and I'm stronger than I think I am. So many businesses have had to close their doors in the last 2 years. So I never forget how blessed I am to still be able to run a travel business 2 years into this pandemic. I think also as a traveler, as an avid traveler, I think I sometimes travel so much that the pandemic forced me to sit down and to sit and evaluate a lot of things and look at myself and look at my life and really just do some inside work. And I think lastly, and probably one of the most important to me because I'm so close to family and friends, we say tomorrow isn't promised, but the pandemic have taught us that the next minute, the next hour, the next second isn't promised. So I've learned to value family, to truly appreciate every minute and every day I get with my loved ones. This pandemic have really made me appreciate the people in my life in a very different way, knowing that there's so many people who their loved one was going here today and going tomorrow. The advice I would give somebody traveling abroad for the first time is stop waiting. Most people who have not traveled abroad or even traveled is because they waited for friends, they're waiting for a partner, they're waiting for someone to join them, and plans keep getting canceled and they're not going. Or even now, a lot of people are waiting for the pandemic to be over. For me, I would say, if not now, when? We don't really have time. Time is not really on our side, and that has been shown in so many cases during this pandemic. So I would say, if your reason for not going abroad is out of fear, or if you're waiting on something or someone, don't do that anymore. Go now, go today, apply for that passport, start getting stamps, go to that city you want to see, whether it's New Orleans or Vegas or Atlanta. Don't let social media dictate where you should go. Trust me, domestic travel is also travel and it's just as important. And I would also say it's okay to listen to other people's travel stories, and it's okay to know where you should take heed, but don't let someone else's travel stories or experience deter or dictate where you go. There's places I've gone that other people love that I got there and I'm like, it's okay. And there's places I love that other people did not love. So go where your heart desires. We all have that place where if we see it on TV or we open the book, it kind of makes our heart skip. Go to that place. That place is going to be the place that probably brings you the most joy. And I would also say, if you decide to go to a resort in the Caribbean for your first travel experience, make sure you take one day, whether it's doing a tour or something where you leave off the resort and kind of get to engage with locals. That's going to be a very unforgettable experience for you. I think one of the biggest misconceptions when it comes to social media is the devalue of domestic travel or travel to certain destinations. Miami, Vegas, Tulum. We devalue these places that people go to, I think forgetting that traveling is a luxury. Whether you're going to Atlanta or Alaska, Kenya or Kentucky, everyone is not afforded the luxury to travel. I think I've seen people put up posts that says, take me back to Miami or take me back to Vegas, and somebody have clowned them and was like, just go back. Whether it be financial or the fact that we don't have the time or whether we don't have the PTO, traveling is a luxury. Everyone doesn't have the same luxury to travel the world. And whether you got 1 stamp or 50 stamps, whether you've been to 25 states or 5 states, don't allow anyone to dim your light or take away the fact that you're a traveler. And I think also we created this false narrative that traveling is some kind of competition. Who can get the most stamps? Who can go to the most destinations? Who can go somewhere exclusive that nobody's been? That's nice if that's what you desire, but we all travel for different reasons, and understanding that we all travel for different reasons. I think that's very, very important when it comes to the travel world. And I think, lastly, I want to say that we've created this narrative that if you're not traveling, you're not living your best life. Everyone doesn't have the desire to travel. And I make sure that in my travel company, we note that we were created to inspire those who have the desire to travel, but never to belittle or force those who have no desire to travel. Everyone doesn't have a desire to travel, and that's okay. So I think social media have created these false narratives that with the black travel world that need to be taken away. I would have to say flexibility and being open to new experiences. Whether it's weather, tour cancellations, especially with COVID-19, or just simply getting to a destination and realizing you're tired. Plans are liable to change, and being able to pivot and go with the flow is necessary. It would be ideal if everything went as planned, but the reality is that is not realistic. You gotta be open to plans changing. You gotta keep your energy up. Being scared and being comfortable is okay, but don't let it hold you back when you're traveling. Be open to trying new foods. Be open to trying new experiences. Those are the things that make a great travel partner. We don't fly all the way around the world to do the same things and eat the same things that we can eat at home. TrayTableSeatBack is my company that I started in 2017. It was just a website where I would blog my travels, showcase other travelers, allow other bloggers to come on and blog with the intent to inspire brown and black folks to get out there and travel. We have now begun curating group trips to international group trips around the world. Over the past 2 years, we've curated about 12 or 13 international group trips to about 12 or 13 different countries. We want to be the guide and gateway to showing brown and black people and other marginalized groups, the LGBTQIA community, create a safe travel space for them to see the world, especially people coming from where I came from, the average working class American. We want to take people to countries and places that they never thought they can go. One of the biggest compliments for me is when I hear travelers say, I never thought that I would come to Greece. I never imagined coming to Turkey. I had no reason to come to Turkey. And they get there and they're just in awe by the experience. I know what that felt like and feel like as a traveler when I go to places and I'm just in awe. So to be able to bring that feeling to other people who look like me, coming from the same streets and hood that I've come from, and knowing that I'm making the prices affordable, it really that's what TrayTableSeatBack is. We accept all and we're open to all, and we just want to create a safe space where under-marginalized groups can tell their travel stories and feel like they exist in this trillion-dollar company, like this trillion-dollar industry where we are valuable customers.